Hi, Mary Wong here of Trio's Jewelry Studio. 40 years ago, I picked up some pliers, a saw, and some metal, and I started making jewelry. It was some of the most fun I'd ever had. It was intriguing, it excited me, and I knew then that I was going to be a jeweler. Well, here I am, all these years later. Along the way, it hasn't always been comfortable. I've had to design things early on, and I didn't have the confidence to do it. But I jumped in and kept persisting and eventually developed enough artistic skills that I could design credibly, and I developed enough technique where I could credibly be a jeweler. It took time. It's not an instant set of skills, but most of you probably have the basic skills where you start. You start with, again, soldering and sawing and bending. And with that, that's fabrication. You can make an amazing amount of things. We can go beyond the band and the bezel. We can make art. We can make miniature sculpture. We can make wearable, satisfying pieces of jewelry for people. So I'm going to take these 3 stones. I'm going to make 3 very simple sketches. And they're not like GPS telling you to turn right in 100 feet and get onto that exit and get off in 10 miles. No, it's a lot more like westward ho, and then maybe go north for a while. We're going to create enough of a sketch to have a framework to hang our decisions on. And then we're going to plow ahead, make those decisions, and learn how to evolve a design. I think it's going to be fun. So let's get started. I have selected some gems here, and I'm going to actually make 3 rings because I like working in series. And I've got a tourmaline, pink tourmaline with spinel. I've got a blue teal tourmaline with a color change garnet, and I have a Holley agate with a yogo sapphire from Montana. I love these colors, so each one of these will be a ring, and I'm going to make a series. I like when I do a series of related designs because then you have a collection. And a collection is always more intriguing than a single one-off design. So here's the stones I've chosen. Now I have to decide what to do with them. And I have some metal here. So let's start with a straightforward oval and the beautiful little spinel. Now I turn the stone upside down, the spinel, so that it's flat instead of all tippy, and it's easier to design around. Okay, so I have this beautiful piece of textured roller printed relief swirls. I have some reticulated metal here. It's a process that you use to get the surface of the silver to be wrinkled. It's very interesting. I have a little piece of roller printed striation. This is silver that I hammered just with a hammer onto some concrete and created this rough texture, and I like that too. So all of these little pieces can be put into a design. And here's some gold, rose gold. You could use any color gold if you like, gold accents. And then of course my sterling silver for the ring shank, which is this is a nice dimension. What is this dimension? Let's find out. This is 4.96, which would be considered about a 5 millimeter by 1.89. That's a nice dimension for a ring shank. I have big fingers, but you know, that's going to work. We set the stone on here just for scale. You can see that's not too bad. That's going to work. And for scale, that works as well. Okay, so what can we do with these components and these 2 gems? I like this leafy striation too. Oh, maybe. Okay, so what if we took something like this triangle shape of the leaf and mounted this little spinel up there somewhere in a bezel and brought this piece, do we like it to go across the finger or to be vertical on the finger? I don't know. Maybe like that. Okay. So given that, let's say we do something with our piece of silver. What if we split this piece of silver and made kind of a split shank? Cut that and split it. And you just cut it in half lengthwise and separate the two sides, and then inset our textured piece with the little lines in it like this, right? And then it would have a rim of silver, and then you'd have your inset piece. Somewhere in there you're going to put your little gem. And then let's make a bezel. Put in our oval. And on the other side, we can bring up an open split shank without, maybe a little narrower. We're going to have our oval here in a bezel, okay, and then do another split shank on the other side, but leave it a little narrower, like this, okay. Something like that. Maybe make this come past. And make it a little asymmetrical so that the top, your finger's actually going through more like this. So you wouldn't actually see, this part here would be going around your finger as with this. So you'd have this asymmetrical piece. Okay, we'll put that there. And then let's put this over here. Well, we trim it all up, and maybe that's kind of an interesting piece. Okay, I like that. Let's call that one one. Now, what would be a good related piece with this cool blue tourmaline? What could we do? And this is sort of a bicolor. It's kind of pretty. And this is darker. Let's make this one go horizontal on the finger. I want to put the darker little accent stone on the opposite end from the dark end of the tourmaline. And how about on this one? What are we thinking here? Again, we could split this material, give it a nice lengthwise cut down, saw it up, and then ooh, I know what we could do. We could cut it, and then we could bring one side of it around the stone. Okay, yeah, I like that. So we'll have one piece that comes around like this. We'll bend it. And then the other side, let's make it come around. Let's see, we're going to put this one in horizontal. Okay, here's our stone. And the other one, let's make this one taper out, and then have this side come around, and the little stone will be there. Okay, how about that? Now we need to bring some texture into this piece. These are actually going to be a little bit thinner than I'm drawing them, but we're just getting the shape right now. So we're going to put that in there in a bezel. This will come over here like that. And then let's have a little bit of a textured piece, maybe not one of these. Maybe we'll just bring the other side of the ring shank up and make it meet up right here with its own little kind of split. Okay, I like that. And maybe it meets up over here. Okay. And then we can do a bit of texturing of a different kind, maybe from a hammer or a little tool that we cut in and we just hammer or do some carving into here, make a nice texture on the ring shank. Oh, that would be nice. Texture, okay. I like that. So something like this where we have kind of some split ring shank material that comes up and surrounds the stones, but asymmetrically. Okay, I kind of like it. That's neat, and we'll relate it to the texture of the first ring by texturing the ring shank itself. So that's nice, I like that. Let's try another one. This one is interesting. Holley Agate is from Oregon, from the Sweet Home area of Oregon. Yogo Sapphire from Montana is actually a rare sapphire, and this is a gorgeous, gorgeous purple color, but it has a hint of red to it. And that hint of red in that sapphire goes with this kind of pinkish reddish tone in this purple agate. It's a great color. So what are we going to do here? Let's get a little bit of a clean slate. We'll move it up here. We need to use some of the textured metal in this piece. I think we can use the reticulation. Ooh, that's a beautiful piece of reticulation. It's got great relief to it. So what can we do with that? Using little scraps of stuff is something I started 40 years ago when I took my first metalsmithing classes. It was a thing we did. We'd go to the scrap bin and pick out pieces of bronze or copper, stuff cast off from projects, and make things. I made a belt buckle. It was my pride and joy. I wore it for years. Let's see. I think this piece has a beautiful relief to it. I don't know if you saw this, but here's a piece I did. It has a Holley agate. It's got a Yawa opal. It's got a sapphire textured metal. It was carved out of wax and cast. This piece I really love, though. Got a lot of dimension in it. Really, jewelry is just wearable sculpture. So if you think of the piece you're making as a sculpture, you want it to be interesting from every angle. Like I found that creating interest in angles and textures and dimension was fun. I look at every little piece I make as a sculpture, and I try to make it interesting from every angle. Okay, so if we did that, and we take our little Yogo Sapphire and put it up there, a little more kite shape, or do we go angularly across the finger? And maybe we cut back this piece a little bit. Leave that. Oh, I like that. Okay, and then bring this down. It has this nice thing there. That creates kind of a natural place to set the point of the bezel. And then we can bring a split shank down. Oh yeah, okay, I like that. And then this can come up here. And then I think we want to put that gem into the reticulation somewhere. And I would leave it open right here. So we have an open kind of space there. I kind of like that. Now we have 3 cool designs here. We have the blue-green tourmaline with the color change garnet. We have the pink tourmaline with the spinel. And we have a Holley agate with the Yogo Sapphire. Well, that's going to be a really cool series. So the next thing is, how do we make them? So let's get busy.